Welcome to QuewsNews. 8th of March, International Women's Day. We are celebrating in the studio and we'll be joined by successful women from UK and abroad to share their success stories. My co-host today is Hayley Beeden, who is an accomplished businesswoman with a background of being a psych specialist nurse and a mother. Hello, Hayley. How are you today?
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm good, thank you.
It's a pleasure. So, Hayley, tell us, what does International Women's Day means to you?
It's a day to highlight the success, how far women have come. It's also a day to look at what we need to do more to ensure equality for women.
So, what is the significance of this day? I mean, women, they should be celebrated every day in whatever role they are.
I would love to be celebrated every day, but if we have one day and we are all celebrating together, we can all come together and really share ideas and share and celebrate each other. And again, like I said, look at what else we need to do to make sure that women have equality and freedom of choice.
Absolutely. And you being such a successful woman yourself, what do you think that in Western world are the challenges a woman can face to achieve success?
Well, I'm talking from experience. The family unit in Western society, I'm talking from an English perspective, has completely broken down. It's difficult. You don't have a support network. You have young children with broken homes, and it's really difficult to when you don't have them coping strategies and you don't have the basic foundations to go off out into the world. You make mistakes, and we find a lot of women underachieving, or in situations that they can't get out of.
So we believe that women are multitaskers. So I mean, they've got several hats, but which one do you think is the most important role of being a woman?
I think the most important thing about being a woman is choice. I believe that women should have the choice and be supported in their informed choices. For me, my biggest role is being a mother, and that is because it's me on my own, so I feel directly responsible for how I'm shaping my children and the influence that I am giving to them on their way to adulthood.
Yeah, of course, like nurturing a child, it is so important because we are building up future generations. Do you think that in Western culture, we are seeing the deterioration of a family unit? And we are also witnessing a huge rise in the mental health conditions, and you being in that specialty, do you agree that there is something to do with the breakdown of the family unit?
Absolutely. If you don't have support, you can spiral, with any kind of mental illness, especially with depression and things like that. If you don't have a good support network, if you don't have family offering good advice, if you don't feel that connection with people, we are humans. We want to feel love and to be loved. And if you don't have that, you may make wrong choices looking for something that you are lacking from that family unit.
Correct. And why do you think that men can't do the role of nurturing a child?
Well, they can do the role. Can they do the role better than a female that is willing and functioning properly and everything? No, they can't. And that's physiological. That's also because women, on the whole, are more agreeable, more nurturing, and that is why we are more suited to that role.
Yeah. And I don't know what you think, but I feel that when, especially for career women, when they are doing their role as a mother, as a wife or a partner, and trying to achieve success in career, do you think that somewhere during that journey they neglect themselves? It's too much pressure on them?
There is too much pressure. There is. Women now have to be seen to be caring but not too caring. They have to be seen to be, pushing for a career, but not too much because that would be neglectful of a family. They have to be seen to be looking after themselves, but not too much because that would obviously be vain. And women are really in a place of we can't really do right for doing wrong. I think as long as you have informed choice and as long as you are supported. And I think the test is at the end of the day, you can put your head down and say, I did the best that I could today.
Yeah. But this, the word women empowerment, where the general impression women take it as like they have to work side by side with men. And in doing so, they sometimes neglect their role as a mother. Do you think it's fair?
I think that the message has been either misunderstood or the message was pushed slightly too much. And what we've done to women is given them additional pressure. We're never going to get an equal outcome as men because we are different. And that's not saying that that's a bad thing. I think women should be celebrated in their differences, as should men. We are in a society at the moment that have completely demasculinized our men, and they have no role. And equally to women, we're pushing it onto them, career. Some women really do want to be a caregiver, and we should not, take away the importance of that as well.
Right. So let's invite our guests today to share their stories of success. Let's welcome Dr. Gulban. Dr. Gulban, she is a very highly accomplished and successful doctor. She is not only a clinician, but she has got enormous contributions in the field of research. A successful lady, of course, she must have faced obstacles and challenges during her journey to success. So let's ask her to share her story of success. So Gul, if you don't mind telling our viewers where you are now and how did you make all these achievements from the time you started your journey?
Yeah. Thank you so much, Dr. Amara, for having me on the panel. And it gives me a great pleasure to just share my story. Now, I'm an accomplished endocrinologist and in one of the teaching hospitals in London. And I absolutely cherish my work. It was a journey which was tough, but the key to success was hard work and never give up. And in all this story, I think you always need a role model or inspiration. And it was my mother. Although she was a homemaker, she did not work, but she was educated. And she instilled this thing in me: if you want to do something, you will achieve it. So, with that idea, I walked into this country, and it is around 20, 25 years ago when you looked around. Teaching hospitals were male dominated and mostly from local origin, and you had to really cut above the class to let them know that you do exist and you can achieve. And I think I have achieved a lot because last year I received the prize for the endocrinologist of the European Endocrinologist of the Year award. And I hope I'm inspiring a lot of other young girls and doctors to come into the field, have their thinking so loud and clear, have their facts so clear, and then people will turn around and listen. Like I said, for me, Women's Day is a great time to reflect because in all your this journey, when you are rushing around trying to accomplish things, being a mother also, and being also a wife, mother, and sister, and everything, you forget how did you achieve it. And on this day, you just sit back and think, yes, I started somewhere, and this is where I clicked. This is where I failed. But failure doesn't mean that you give up. Failure teaches you how to do it in a better. So with that kind of idea behind me, that's what I'm trying to inspire others. How to come across, how to carry on your profession in a dignified way, and how also being an ethnic minority be listened to. That is not all about being a woman. It's not all about being from an ethnic minority. Is a brain behind what you are talking about.
Thanks,
And
Gul, for sharing your experiences. So you mentioned that the institution where you work currently, it was a very male dominating place. Do you
Yes.
think as a woman you had to work harder compared to your male counterparts to achieve the status that you have now?
Yes, absolutely. I agree with you. I had to work much harder. The times were such that even if you were a mother, your child was ill, you couldn't take time off to say that my, because it wasn't heard of. Now times have changed, and I think it's the effort of people like you and me who have tried to tell them we can still work being mothers, we can still look after kids and work. That now you are granted a maternity leave, a a break back to work, a gentle things and everything. Yeah, it was extremely hard, and I had to be on the top of my profession to prove that I can do this and I can actually do it in a better than others would do. Luckily times have changed. I can see a lot of girls around me, lot of women in a managerial post, in professorial post and leading posts, where they are making a huge influence on our younger generation.
Yeah, I agree with
I'm
you,
sure
Gul, on
you must
that.
be doing
Now,
that the
tell me
same.
that you mentioned about being a mother as well as a career woman. How did you maintain the work-life balance?
I think what it taught me that you need to have a very understanding partner, a person who is prepared to help you out, and you need very good friends, a good neighbors, because suddenly in the middle of the clinic you will get a call your child is not well, and you can't drop everything and run around. But you have, if you have a friend, if you have good neighbors, you can call them and take. So you just try to achieve a work and balance life. My other thing was part time wasn't heard of. You had to work either full time or no work. So with my being having two young children, so I decided to do 5 days work in 3 days and have 2.5 days. And now it is almost a norm. You can job share, you can have part time so that your family doesn't suffer. But yes, in spite of tough times, I think I did manage, and I have brought up two successful kids who are now well settled. And I can look back at them and said, no, I didn't do a bad job as a mother as well. And I'm sure you
Sure,
have come across.
with your achievements, I'm sure your children, they took you as a role model. Do you think they were influenced by the hard work you were doing to achieve this status in your life? Do you think you were an inspiration to them, or they missed their mummy at home?
No, I think they might have missed it, but when they look back it and when I talk to them, they always say that it's your hard work which inspired us to try and at least try our best to achieve things in life. Yes, we did miss you. You weren't there or when we needed you. But like the balance you kept, particularly my daughter now, because she is herself a mother, and she always looks up to me to say how did you do it, and she wants to try in the same way. Yeah, there may be, I'm sure as a mother I must have failed in few occasions, but I think mostly we have achieved the balance what we wanted to achieve. Yeah.
Great. And you mentioned about your husband that without the participation from your spouses, and
Yeah.
I'm aware Asian men, they're not always very cooperative when it comes to household
Yeah.
stuff,
Yeah.
including cooking food or attending parent-teacher meetings. So,
Yeah.
do you think that you did not have those kind of issues in your household?
We did have to start off, but I think men are also quite intelligent. They realize that they have to support, otherwise I couldn't work or he couldn't work. um, I think I will give credit to my mother-in-law as well. He brought up a good man, and whenever I needed, he could help in cooking, he could pick up children from school, because on my own it would have been a big struggle. We actually, to be honest, we learned from each other. And more than a marriage, just being married in an Asian way, it was also a partnership and a friendship which brought us a long way. And now we look back and we can say, yes, we did a good job on both the fronts. Yes.
That's a great message. I think even though we are celebrating Women's Day, but we have to acknowledge the hard work and participation and contribution men have in making their women successful. So, Hayley, if we look at the history, we see there were several women who made a significant role in the society. For example, talking about Florence Nightingale, her contribution in her role, and then later on as political leaders. But if you think about women who wear several hats, and of course, like being a mother or a wife or a sister, a lot of times women, they make all these struggles to achieve something in life, to be accomplished in life. Do you think that they go through a lot of sacrifices to achieve that?
Well, I think just going off what you're saying, to be a mother and to be nurturing and caring and to be in that role and then have to switch up, and if you want to take a political role or things like that, your agreeableness and your care has to come down a little. So we're turning into chameleons. We're trying to be everything just to satisfy the roles that we're trying to get. It's very difficult for women.
Do you think society expects a lot from women when it's not the same for men?
I think society has put the expectation onto women, so now women expect too much from themselves. We can do it. We can do it, but do we spread ourselves thinly? Absolutely. There is a lot of pressure on women because we've been told, you must have a career, you must do this. There's a lot to
Why
to
should
women.
they? Because the thing is that not all women want to achieve a career. They want to be good homemakers. So why should women be influenced by what society expects of them?
I think what we need to do as a society is be mindful about pushing agendas and narratives onto women. We need to be saying to women, you have a choice. These are your choices. There isn't a right way. There isn't a wrong way. I think we overcompensated at one point or another, and now we have lots of women that think it's not good enough just to be homemaker. And it absolutely is. It absolutely is one of the most important roles.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct in that it is about choices. So if a woman doesn't want to be a career woman, there is nothing wrong with that because there's no competition. And being a good mother to nurture their children and work hard for the future generations is one of the most important roles.
And as we've heard today, the women are saying that their family support unit was integral to their success.
Absolutely.
You have to have a homemaker to bring everybody together.
Absolutely.
To have that foundation, which is the reason why we have so many successful women.
So let's take another successful lady on board, Dr. Camilla Heather. She is a very successful psychiatrist, a very successful mother, and most importantly, she is the social secretary for APPA, the largest democratic organization for Pakistani physicians in Northern Europe. She has hosted very successful social events since she took the office, and let's ask her about her journey to success. So thank you very much, Camilla, for joining us today. So tell our viewers about your journey to success.
Thank you so much, Dr. Amara Sohail, and I would like to thank QuewsNews for taking me online today. And at least I've got some chance to share my successful story, the story that you are saying successful. So must be successful, Amara. Amara herself is a very successful woman I have known. So it's a pleasure for me to be here on this platform today and talk about my journey on the International Women's Day. So my story, I think, is very similar to other women, and I think we are all very super women, super ladies, and I have known quite a lot of them in my shoes as well. And it's like a basic story where we start studying, we start get a degree, get married, and have children. Then with all the hardships that we face, give exams, look after children, looking after the family, having a very career-oriented husband. Obviously, I couldn't stop his career either, so I had to step back a few times to let him move forward. And this is to step back to look after young children, to look after the house, so that my husband could actually study and move forward. And I think people might think that I sacrificed, but I don't think that was a sacrifice because I was doing it with my own will and I was happy to do it. Maybe 10 years down the line, I see myself that I could have got that success 10 years before time. But I think I was, at the time, I was happy to give away some of my time to the family, which was equally important. And we all women do that. And as a working woman, I've learned a lot in my life. I have I have learned from experiences. I've made terrible mistakes as well, but I think I wouldn't learn without those mistakes. So maybe we don't have time to talk about everything, but I think the basic equation is that women, God has created women in a way that they are sacrificing, and they do it very willingly, and they do it happily. And I'm grateful for what I have today. I mean, I have given my time to my family, to my career, and I have achieved successfully. If I have achieved what I have achieved, maybe I would have gone further and achieved more in my life, but I think I'm happy with what I have. And I think I have created a role model for my daughters, and I feel so happy when they look up to me and say, we want to be like a mother. And I think that is the biggest sentence that makes me so happy, that I have become a role model for my children.
So, Kamila, we know that you are a very hardworking lady, and reaching to this level of success is never easy. But tell us briefly about the challenges that you faced as a woman in this country.
So it is. I mean, I was yesterday. I was actually in a similar kind of a discussion group where we discussed various hardships that women are facing, and I was asked the same question there. And I believe that even in this modernization world, in this modern era, where we still celebrating after, even after 25 years, we're still celebrating International Women's Day, and we are talking about the same things that we used to talk about 20 years back. And I think the hardships will that I have faced are very similar to, I've seen what women faces, that um, time factor. I mean, the thing is that we get up 6 in the morning and we don't even have time to go to bed like midnight or 1 a.m. And the work just constantly goes on and on. With those hardships, giving membership exams, Royal College exams, and I had taken this challenge to myself that I want to complete these exams, Royal College exams, which was very hard for me with children and looking after my job, my house, and I was actually divided into three categories there. My father wasn't well at a point, so I had to take time off and look after him. So I could see my role as a daughter, as a mother, as a wife, and as a doctor. So we have to be very dedicated to our job as well. We can't leave our jobs because we can't take it for granted that we'll just do it. It's very high demanding jobs that we are doing in NHS and privately. um, so there were so many hurdles that came in, and I remember little things used to look very big on me. Like, for example, there's a school trip that forgot about, and all of a sudden in the night I came to know, oh, I didn't pack this stuff for my daughter. And this was a big thing for me at that time. How would she actually go without a proper suitcase packed, and what would she feel in front of these 30 old children? So these are very I mean, now I look at it, I feel, I laugh at myself basically, but at that time these things were very big because I was so preoccupied with my job, with my exams and all that, that I used to forget little things.
But do
um,
you think that in your journey to success, you may have somewhere neglected yourself
oh,
to
of course,
fulfill
yes.
your roles as a mother, as a wife, as a professional woman?
Obviously, where would you get time for yourself, Amara? Tell me. Where would I fit myself in? But even then, I should thank my husband for that. That he has helped me quite a lot with all that he was going through, like he was going through the training post and all. And I think women can multitask, but we can't expect all that from our husbands. But even then, he was looking after whatever I asked him to do. He used to take time off and do it. But then I just felt that. To find me time was very difficult. me time was,
I think
and I
it would be unfair, and men wouldn't like it if you say that they can't multitask, because this is definitely for them to go above and beyond their abilities, to work as a man and also to do some chores that women, especially in Asian society, are meant to be doing. So I think we have to give some credit, which you already have, to men as well for their contributions to make you a successful career
absolutely,
woman.
Amara.
So, Haley,
I,
would you
I
like to ask Camilla about her journey as a as a successful woman?
Yes, thank you very much for sharing your journey. I just wonder if you have any words of advice or inspiration for the women that are left behind, and they don't have the opportunity. They're currently facing the rent hikes and the energy crisis with the energy bills. Do you have any words of advice for these people that are currently being let down by our system?
So, nobody's above the system. That's what I feel. We have to follow it, we have to be in it, and we have to find our way through it. So, I would actually advise that whatever hardships you have, whatever challenges you have to make your own way. You can't wait for someone to come and give you that in the plate and just take it. You can't. I moved from my family. I moved with my husband and my children from Pakistan to UK, and migrating from one country to the other was not an easy task for me at all. I have seen a lot, and there were times when I had to literally go over and above my capacities to help and take really big risks in my life. And unless you want to do something big, you can't do it without risk-taking behaviors. I mean, I'm not saying that you need to do risk-take. You have to have a risk-taking behavior in your life, but you have to have that courage to stand up for yourself. And
Thank you.
for example, you're saying that I need to have my me time. Maybe at that time, my me time was not important for me.
Yes.
The things that I wanted to do, my goals were more important. So that you have to prioritize your life, and you have to find your own goals, and then the journey towards that goal, you have to make your own way. And where there is a will, there is a way.
So, Haley, I mean, it's such a nice thing to hear the success stories from women from different walks of life. Now, I'm thinking that there are so many things women are doing which were expected from men only. Now, with so many hats women are wearing, do you think men can justify doing the roles that women are expected to do?
I think
I'm not being biased.
No,
and
I think it comes down to individual cases, because there are sometimes the man is more of a caregiver and has that way about him, and the woman has more of a drive for a career. I think that can work if you go with what you're good at. I think what's important is that we don't try and be somebody that we're not.
Absolutely.
And it does differ. On the whole, women are more caring and can multitask and can do those things. So on the whole, women are
Yeah, I
better
mean,
for the job.
I know this. There are so many things at home I can't do.
Yeah.
For example, fixing things, the
Yeah,
light
exactly.
bulb changing and things like. Even though I can do, but I
And,
always
and,
ask.
and it's good to just work together, work out what you're good at. Obviously, physiologically, women are there to be caregivers and feed their children and things, but times have moved on. But we should be just looking at choice, and we should be looking at respecting one another and working together.
Absolutely. So let's join our next guest. Today at Quews, we feel so honored to have on board Dr. Sadia Ehsan Paul, who is joining us from Pakistan. The introduction for Dr. Paul is that she is one of the most successful and accomplished ladies in Pakistan. And we have heard her talking about women empowerment in different forums. Not only that she's a very successful clinician, but she's got several hats. So let's welcome Dr. Paul. Thank you very much, Dr. Paul, for joining us today. And our viewers would like to share your journey to success. So please tell us about yourself first.
Thank you so much, Dr. Amara. Indeed, it's an honor to be invited by you people. And my journey for success, whatever you may call it, part of it is from UK as well. So I graduated from Pakistan school, etc., med school. Then I went for my postgraduate training and membership of the Royal College of Gynecologists. And I worked in Southwest London at St. Peter's Hospital, and I was like a single mom. So it was a very, very tough journey for me. So I can write a whole book on nannies and trying to find, help at home, because no woman can work or achieve anything if she doesn't have support at home. And that means family support as well. Uh, so if you have a child, and I had a 2 year old when I started my first job in England, and you can't really work if you're worried about your child. So that goes hand in hand for a woman to achieve anything in life professionally. If she's single, generally that's not a problem. You can manage very well. But if you're married, then you have to balance time with your husband. And on top of it, if you have a child, then I think any woman is a mother first before anything else. And if we fail in that, then I don't think we can ever any woman can forgive herself if she fails as a mother. So there's you're wearing so many hats. And around the time when I was giving my membership exam, my MRCOG, it was so difficult to find that me time that we keep talking about. Time to study even is like a luxury. So finding that was just amazing. And there was this, we had to read articles and journals, and there was this editorial in the BMJ where women doctors were described as superwomen. I think that's what we all are,
So,
all of
I
us.
mean, you mentioned about your multitasking to maintain a balanced life. So, I mean, I know that you have worked in UK. We have heard stories from our successful women who are currently working in UK. But tell us how easy or how difficult or how challenging it is to achieve success as a woman in Pakistan.
Okay, so in contrast to UK, where I told you I had no family, my husband's also a surgeon, so he was working in a different city, different rotation. So I had to manage myself. I was like a single mom. Uh, so I achieved all that. It was, I think, the most difficult period of my life as a professional. On return to Pakistan, because I had family here, and I'm one of those lucky women, I would say, and it's a privilege to have been born by chance into a family which supported women being educated. It's totally by chance that we I could have been born in a family which was far more conservative and did not allow me to step out of the house. That does happen in Pakistan too. But however, in Pakistan, in comparison, raising a family, balancing my career, and other social things were much easier, actually. I come from Karachi, so there was a whole family system, and you get free babysitting from relatives who love your child, and you don't have to, worry and stuff like that. Uh, so life was much easier in that way, but professionally there were a lot of challenges because it's very different. uh, the patients are different. The women are not as empowered as English women. In fact, there's a whole different strata from being very empowered and educated and rich. You come to very poor women, but um, it has been a pleasure for me. It is very rewarding because you can make a difference.
Yeah, so, Dr.
That's
Paul,
what
you
I feel.
mentioned about difficulties women may have in Pakistan, and good it was you were privileged that you were born in a setup where things were not too challenging for you at home front. Do you think this Western media portrayal of Pakistani women as oppressed gender, do you think it is true?
It is true to some extent, but majority of women. Look, I'm sitting here in front of you. I very much represent a Pakistani woman. Okay, so I can wear Western clothes in Pakistan as well. I choose to dress up like this because this is my national dress, and this is how most women dress in Pakistan. We're not covered in black burqas and shuttlecock things that we call them. Uh, there's diversity here. It's always been diverse. However, it has changed over the years thanks to many wars and the political scenario, etc. Um, but generally speaking, it is a very wrong portrayal. You're sitting in front of me. You're very much a Pakistani woman. You're one of us. At the same time, you're very westernized. You fit in very well with the British system as well. And similarly, when I'm abroad, like they say in Rome, do as Romans do. So we like to blend in. But in Pakistan, I'm sorry, the Western media portrayal of women is not correct. There are so many positive stories about women, and they don't get portrayed in the media. I mean,
I think thanks
one
to
could.
social media, I think the world is now seeing a different face of Pakistani women, and I'm sure with time, this negative publicity would basically change. So, Haley, you would like to ask something from? Would you like to ask something from Dr. Paul regarding her success story? And she mentioned about how the Western media portrays Pakistani women. Do you want to ask any questions?
Yes, please. Thank you, firstly, for sharing your story with us. I'm interested to know, I feel that in Western society, at the moment, the British women are facing their own kind of oppression. It doesn't look as it has done for other people, but you often see now women in coercive, controlling environments, or being left on their own with children and struggling, and father figures are no longer there. Do you have any words or any thoughts that you could share with those women on how to overcome that kind of oppression?
That's a very, very difficult situation, and it is so common. Uh, I mean, it would be very foolish to think that Western women are very empowered or able to, look after themselves. Violence against women, domestic violence is so common. We've had reports from the Royal College, the president speaking as well. I mean, something like every third minute, a woman gets, experiences violence. So it's not just common in our part of the world. And unfortunately, the more it's also related to drug abuse and drinking, the partner doing that and not taking responsibility for the children. I mean, a lot of it has to do with poverty as well,
Yeah.
and the
So,
male partner
Dr. Paul,
not
would you,
taking
I mean,
responsibility.
you being an inspirational woman in Pakistan, is there any message you want to give us to our younger generation or all the women all over the globe as a Pakistani women? What are the
Yeah.
main, basically, keys to success for a woman in Pakistani society as well as abroad?
I think the key message I would like to give is that for a woman, life is not about marriage and having children. Life is about being happy. And being happy can be as a single person, it can be with a career or without a career. But you should be happy in what you're doing and what you're achieving. So, whatever that means, I mean, there are these society norms which are imposed on, I'm talking about Pakistani women now, that you should get married. So, the the girl, if you don't get married, you're kind of, there's something wrong with you. Uh, and if you're married, then you must have children. You're a useless person or a useless woman. And that can be grounds for divorce also in our society and some other societies too. So we have to come out of that. So I do see this trend in Pakistan also, that young women, career women, are not getting married early. Those that are educated, they are choosing their life partner. And that is a very Islamic thing to do, by the way. There's this misconception that if you're a Muslim, then you don't marry by choice. I've married by choice. I'm sure you have as well. There's no force involved. The Islamic way is very much choice, both on the part of the male and the female. So there's no concept of coercion. So only if you find somebody worth spending your life with or worth having a child with, only then. And work your way and be independent, be happy. That's my key message.
Thank you very much, Dr. Paul, once again. I'm sure your messages, they will go far, and a lot of girls who are unsure about what they want to do in life, they will take it seriously. Thank you once again. So you've just heard Sadia, her struggle, and as an Asian woman working in Western as well as, in Pakistan. What is, as being a Westerner, what is your impression of a Pakistani woman?
Well, I have been privileged enough to travel, which I think if you can and you can be afforded travel and to experience other cultures, you absolutely must, because women I know that are just enclosed into their one area where I live, they're not going to have the same understanding I do. And that also causes rifts in between communities. And I think that we could all really learn from other people that are traveling and really, they're taking on these cultures and really understanding other people. I know that there are real misconceptions across from the Western side of the world to Pakistani women, and we do see that. Or we do feel, maybe it's from the media, maybe it's from other people, that they live a more oppressed life than we do. But I think we all have our own challenges, and I think actually moving forward, what I would love to see, all these organisations that you guys have been proudly speaking about, is having something where we're joining communities.
Absolutely.
Because I think women, they will see the parallels.
Yeah.
Even though culturally we are so different, our struggles are going to be very, very similar.
Similar, absolutely. And also this media portrayal of Asian women or women from a non-Western society, I think it is a misconception, as you rightly said, because I have grown up in Pakistan, and I had very strong women in my life, even though that was, more than 6 decades ago. I saw my mother as a very, very successful woman in the role as a mother, because she was always there for us. She supported us. She wanted us to have good education. So this concept that women in Pakistan, they are deprived of education, it's probably exaggerated, because yes, there are areas, but isn't it the same in Western society as well?
And I think you make a really good point about viewing mothers as hardworking and very inspirational women. I think in Western society now, we view mothers that choose to stay at home and do nothing else as weaker or oppressed, or maybe somehow that's something to do with their husbands chosen that for them. And it is not the case. And we need to really get back to really admiring the role of homemaker.
And I think we need, so on this International Women's Day, I think we must celebrate women who are homemakers. Because sometimes, being a career woman, I feel that I think I get more tired when I'm at home, because there are so many things I have to sort out. And I just think that, yes, it's a struggle for me that I'm trying to keep a work-life balance, but being a homemaker is an absolutely important role, and we need to celebrate that.
And it never ends. The
Absolutely.
homemaker role never ends. There is no switch off. There is no annual leave. It is relentless. So
It's 365
yeah.
days.
Yeah,
Whether
yeah.
you're working or not,
Yeah.
it's irrelevant, because role at home is so important.
Yes.
So let's get another guest online. Our next guest is Simi, a very accomplished, successful woman in her career, personal life, as well as she is a chair for APPA UK, which is Association of Pakistani Women, a very recognized organization. So thank you very much, Simi, for joining us today. So first of all, we would like to you to share your journey to success with our viewers as a part of our celebration of International Women's Day.
Thank you so much, Amara, and I'm really honored that you chose me. And I'm so grateful that you are asking me this. Yes, we all came to this country, and I think as though we might be very lucky, but still we are lost to find our ways. I was a very young girl, and I got married, and I was here. The first thing comes to us, we are quite lonely, we don't know where to start. So, in that struggle, I started different things, and that helps you to find your way. So, I worked in central London with a huge organization on the financial sector, and that was just to keep me occupied. And my husband was just a student of chartered accountancy. And as he finished that, so he was with good organizations, and then he started doing his own things, manufacturing computers for the Ministry of Defense, which was a good thing. So we worked hard, but we were lucky on that side. And in the meantime, I saw that there were a lot of ladies who were very lonely, and they lived sometimes in a huge family system, and they had a lot of problems. So in the meantime, I started my journey usually with the international and national organizations which help women in domestic violence with the police, with social services, and I found that it's all not that what we look from outside. So my journey went into that, and now I could say that I joined up for only 6 years ago, and I saw again that a lot of our women have got problems who come from abroad, and they can't go to any other organizations. They can't speak the language, and they don't even have the confidence. They think they work against them. So that's the way I started it, Apva. And on my personal life, I have got two lovely daughters. God has blessed me. They went to good universities, and they qualified now as solicitors or in the law side. And I'm lucky on that way as well. We have got a very small family, but God has blessed us. Looking around, I think that we can and we should, if we can help the other people who need it badly. So that's mostly I spend my time. And thank you very much. I have a small life, but a blessed life. And I wish every woman can have that. And now in my journey of APPA, I would say APPA is a 70 years old organization. It is the only Pakistani or any Asian or any non British charity, which is 70 plus years old in this country. It has a very prestigious links with it. And the High Commissioner's wife used to be the chairperson of it. But 2012, the government regulations, it has to be a registered charity, which it is now. So it's still, we provide on the upper side. I have written actually the structured word about APPA, that to this day, APPA remains the emotional umbrella for all those Pakistani women who are living abroad and who may not have the support of their families to help them. APPA has and will always seek to be the family to those women. and aiding them in whatever way they need in order to empower them and strengthen them, which we are doing it all the time, and we have weekly calls for that. So this is the umbrella, and I have actually requested many women, and I'm so lucky. Even Amara, I had invited you to be part of us, so you joined us. But lately, if you will have time, I will ask, please join this organization. It really badly needs women like you too. So that is my journey in APPA, and otherwise, on the international level, I am also part of quite a few organizations. Like JLL Junior League was started by the Kennedys, the President Kennedy of America, their wife, Jackie Kennedy. And it is also a huge organization in America, very huge if somebody wants to look into it. And they have started in Britain as well, like about 12, 13 years ago. It is called JLL, Junior League London. I am part of Junior League London as well, and I'm part of quite other international lines of women and lot of other organizations. And we still think that women, in spite of so much talking about women's right, it needs lot of help. And you will be surprised that in this Western country, the women had rights to vote. Even in Switzerland, the women had the vote to, in 1971. The right to vote, the women got it in Switzerland, 1971, which was shocking for me that Middle East subcontinent had women had the right to vote after 1947. So these countries suffered a lot as well. So in late 1800s to 1900s, they were suffragette, and they got the right to vote for women in 1928. Is shocking. And lot has been said, lot has been done, but still they have to go a long way ahead. In 1975, on the 8th of March, they have recognized this as a International Women's Day. And now from 1996, this has become a theme, a big theme for the every society, every organization. In the beginning of the March, from the 8th of March, and for a few weeks, they do their whatever events they do it. They just, for the women awareness, they do it for International Women's Day, which is really very inspiring. And certainly, from my point of view, it is not the fall of the men to give these rights to women. Rather, women is such a hold an important role in the society for economic and for the socio-economic socio reasons. The women have a hold such a place that if they're happy, they're given the rights, the society can really be very prosperous, and we should
Absolutely. I
all
mean, it's
work for that.
working together is the main theme. But do you
Yes.
see that while women are actually pursuing their careers, their role as a mother or as a partner or wife is diminishing, which, we believe that this is a very important role women can play and men can't replace them?
Certainly, you're so right. Women can help, a man can help women. But I think the way nature works, that woman is just the right person to raise the family. And that has really put a woman in a very difficult situation. That at the same time that they pursue a proper career, and then they just raise the family as well. But it is a big struggle. But God has given women a extra, I can say they have the skills. And we see around there, women, they manage. And I was lucky that I managed to have home help for the home things, but still I try to get connected to my daughters, and I try to do things with them, and which is my biggest I cherish those memories, those moments of my life. But it is a very difficult task, you are so right. And when women, they try to take their career as they are fully career minded women, or they have to do it, then their role diminishes as a mother or as a housekeeper. Certainly
Yeah.
that affects.
So thank you very much, Simi, for sharing your success story and also, throwing light on the importance of International Women's Day. So tell us in your journey, what was the most challenging thing for you, the triumphs you have faced, obstacles you have had. What was the most challenging thing for you to achieve the level, the status you have now?
I think the first thing when we come, that people we are surrounded by, they are not what you want to be with. That's the one thing which I face. The places I came from, Pakistan, the people around me had a very different thinking. That was a challenge I had. And then, as I did not have a huge family or much, so I had the loneliness as well, you can say. To, solve that problem, I become part of the people and I wanted to do things for the woman. And that's why I was try to spare my time. That is the reason. And that was very challenging for me. I was blessed that I had, a comfortable life, but that was a big challenge for me.
Yeah, thank you.
Surely.
So Hayley, would you like to ask Simi anything about her journey or any questions you have from a Western woman point of view?
Thank you very much for sharing your story. Firstly, I'd like to ask: do you think, or how important do you think education is for women, even if they're choosing to be the caregiver and homemaker? How important does education feature in empowering women, whichever path they choose?
I think this is the most important thing. This is the most important thing that women, and that's why my mission is that every woman I know or from my own girls, that's why we wanted them to seek education, whichever level they can go to, that changes a woman's personality. Even they don't have to go and work in that particular field, but that changes their thinking, their personality, how they pursue even the things in the house, how they raise their children. So I think education is the key for women empowerment. That's what
Thank
I
you.
think.
Thank you very much, Simi. That is definitely a very inspirational message for our younger girls as well as women all over the globe. So thank you once again for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I am honored to be, that you have included me in this.
Thank you very much. So one thing that I am noticing that most women who are very successful in life, they mentioned either about their husbands, partners,
yeah.
or the other family members
Yeah.
to support them with a lot of other tasks. So clearly, achieving something you want to achieve, you need some help and support. And I think we must congratulate those men who help with help their counterparts in
Yeah.
achieving the successes or their dreams. Would you agree?
Yes, I think as well, you make a really good point that in Western society, or my experience of my smaller community, there is a notion now that you can do this on your own, you don't need a man. And we really drill that into women, and it can be quite toxic. Because no, we don't need bad men, we don't need men that are useless, we don't need those kind of men. But actually to say that you need a partnership,
Absolutely.
that's okay.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be drilling it into women that you have to do all this on
There
your
is
own.
no
It's
point we are trying to make, or
no,
it's,
it's unachievable as well. And if it's not achievable, we're going to feel a lot of people are going to feel a lot of letdown on themselves. Expectations are too high. Get in a good partnership. Get a good partnership, and it is okay to say that you need somebody else.
absolutely.
I think that's a good message.
And also, they shouldn't be under any kind of pressure that they have to find a man
Choice
just
again.
for the sake of it.
Yeah.
Find a man when you're ready for it, and find the right man for you rather than just a man in
Build
your life.
on your skills so that you know when the right man comes.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, if you're ill-equipped, this is when you end up with
Wrong man.
ones that slip through the net.
Absolutely. And that is where, the lives can be ruined because you have made wrong choices. So I think one of the messages girls should take is that don't be in a haste to choose your life partners, because it can really ruin your lives.
Yeah.
Isn't it? So I think
And the
that is-
difference between being 20 and the mind you have when you're 30.
Absolutely.
they're completely
there is
world
a
opposites,
need
yeah.
for some maturity
Yeah,
when
yeah.
it comes to making a decision about your life, because
Yeah.
you don't want to be changing your partners again and again.
No.
It's very daunting, and
Yeah.
it's not good for your
Destabilizing as well.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Joining us now is Dr. Jamila Shahid. She is a very successful gynecologist in UK, a very successful mother who has raised very successful children, as well as she has been a key in success of APPA, which is the largest democratic organization of Pakistani physicians from Northern Europe. Let's welcome Dr. Jamila Shahid. Thank you very much, Jamila, for joining us today. I know you are busy, and this is our celebration for women's achievements on International Women's Day. And we couldn't have missed you on this show. So thank you very much. So please, first of all, tell our viewers about your success story, about yourself.
Assalamu alaikum, Amara. Thank you very much for your introduction, and good afternoon to your other guests as well. I thank Sohail Qureshi as well for giving me this opportunity to join you today. It's a International Women's Day, and we are celebrating all that. We have been influenced by so many women in our own lives, starting with our mothers, and they have raised us to become strong women. And I really cannot go beyond this point without appreciating the contributions of the men in our lives, because without them we would not have been where we are. And starting off with, I give a great thanks to my father, um, who gave me the highest education, and because of that, I am who I am. And for our mothers to raise us to a very high standards of manners and our religious and social values, and how to respect others, how to be a family maker, and how to raise our children and be a part of the society. So all I did was, Amara, as you know me closely, that I studied and I completed my medical graduation in Karachi from Dow Medical College, and then immediately after the house job, as we do, got married to my husband, and came to the UK. I have to give the biggest compliment to my husband, because Riaz Shahid, because he's always encouraged me. The minute I landed to this country, he had already booked my driving lessons so that I become independent from that point of view. And now I can say that I've driven on the motorways more mileage than him because of the various jobs during our training and all those things. And apart from being a professional, obviously, we had children like yourself, and I'm the proud mother of two daughters and one son. All of them have seen me and my husband work very hard throughout our lives, and somehow we were unable to put them off the medical profession, and they all chose to be the Masihas, and mashallah, they are all successful in their own rights. I could not have carried through my training and complete my training and come to a point where I would have subspecialized as well in infertility and reproductive medicine without the help of my parents, because they helped me with raising the children. They used to walk them to the school, bring them back, and feed them, look after them when they were unwell, or never needed to send them to nurseries. And I've always worked full time, and that is only because my parents helped me to with the kids. And completed my training and became a consultant, obstetrician and gynecologist, and now I've been doing that for more than 20 years in the NHS and in the private sector as well. So it's been a hard journey, because we qualified in Pakistan. It's a totally different system here, but we acclimatized, we became used to it. There were many people who helped us along, and there were many people who put hurdles in our ways. But because we were determined, because we knew what we wanted, and because we had supportive people around us within our family and outside the family, and that's why we made it. And that's where we are.
So you mentioned about raising three successful professionals, and you mentioned about the role of your parents in upbringing of your children. So in the Western society, as you would agree, we see a lot of young people suffering from mental health issues, and a part of it I was discussing with Hayley, and what we were talking about was that it is the deterioration of a family unit. So, in your journey to success, do you think having a close family played a major role in achieving success in your career as well as the career of your children?
I would definitely say yes to that, because when I was working away from home, I used to work in Norwich, and our home was in Leicester, where my parents and the kids were based. And then I worked in Southampton, and wouldn't be home for a few weeks due to the type of my job of infertility research fellow. So without my parents, and because I had full confidence in them, I knew my mother will look after my kids better than me, and she would sacrifice her own rest and her own needs over my kids. That's why I was so mentally satisfied, that I had no issues, I had no worries, and I continued fulfilling my duties full time with my best abilities, and therefore, completed my training program so successfully.
So I mean, what do you say the importance of a balanced work work-life balance? How do you think it is very important for women more than men, or it is equally important for both of them?
It is equally important, but it is a bit more for women, because uh, you know I mean, our generation, the men did not cook as much as our sons do. As there is a generational change in the perceptions and their responsibilities. So it was I think it was a little bit difficult for us, but the important thing was that we had very supportive husbands, so they never ever stopped us from progressing. They never ever said that you can't do this and you can't do that and you can't work away from home, you have to work in the town where the kids are. I never had that problems with my husband, and I think he's the biggest influence in my life after my father, because I will always remain indebted to my father, because he gave me higher education. So to have supportive men around you, that also makes you help flourish, because
Absolutely.
without any worries, without any fear of being sub, kind of suppressed. So
Absolutely.
when you are appreciated in what you do, then you are encouraged more. And
Yeah.
not only
And
my husband, but all the professionals around us. You mentioned apne. So all the colleagues we have, not only from Dow but all the other medical schools now, and they see us, and they cannot run their organization without involving us. So
absolutely.
you know
Absolutely.
they,
Yeah, that's why I
their
said that you
need for
played such a
us
key
is
role in all these
exactly.
events
Yeah.
to be Apne has organized. Jamila, would you tell our viewers what was the biggest challenge in your life as a career woman? What did you think was the most difficult part to you know, that could
Navigate.
have been a hurdle for a lot of other women who may not be successful?
The biggest challenge for me was that because we had a different training system, so we had to be away from home because we went where the job was. It's not like that you will be in a region now, like the training system now is. So that was the biggest challenge, that I missed out on certain key milestones of my kids as they were growing. But I remember that on Friday I used to finish work early, and I used to rush along the motorways and be there to pick my kids from the school, because I wanted at least to be there, at least once a week, to be there, and that gave me the biggest excitement of my life. And the
And
kids
clearly, the
also used
sacrifice,
to sacrifice.
sacrificing your own time where you could have rested after a busy
Yeah.
week, but your priority was children. So, Haley, would you like to ask Jamila anything about her successful career as a Western woman?
Yes, thank you for sharing your story. I would really like to know, throughout time as well as within your family circle, who were the inspirational women that influenced you?
My biggest influence was my mother, because she was not very highly educated, but she was a homemaker, and so was my grandmothers from both sides, my aunties from both sides. They were so I learned from them how to make a home, how to have a family, how to keep them together, and that might have involved becoming tired physically, for doing various things. But it just kept us going, because when you see the happiness on the faces of your family members, your children, your husband, your parents, and your friends as well, because I used to come home from far away for the weekend, and we used to socialize. I used to have dinner parties in my house, and my mother would help me cook, and we had wonderful time. And then you become rejuvenated to go back on Sunday night to wherever you were working, and have a wonderful week of work, being very happy because you had sharpened your saw by
Yeah.
seeing your loved ones, by hugging your kids, and by doing things with them and for them. So that's what kept on make me go, because I knew that it will come to an end, and then we will be together. And
That's
that
Absolutely.
lovely.
was the
Thank you.
driving
So,
force.
Thank you so
a
much.
lot of successful women who shared their journeys today, I think the essence was that if they were in a role as a mother, to them that always remained the priority. To them, the family came first, and of course, career followed, and they wouldn't have been successful if they didn't work hard. So thank you very much, Jamila, for
you.
sharing your story, and you are an inspiration to a lot of our younger girls as well as women all over the world. Thanks once
Thank you.
again.
Thank you so much.
So, Haley, we have heard the success stories of so many women today. What do you think is the key message for all the women around the globe?
Well, I think the key components that most of the ladies have mentioned is family, good support, education, and I think that is true for wherever you come from, whatever culture. I'm taking away that actually Western culture have lost a lot of the things that we're speaking about, and the importance of the family unit.
Absolutely, 100% agree. So, viewers, you heard the success stories of a lot of inspirational women from different walks of life. And the key message is also, if you've got an ambition, go for it. Do not give up. There will be challenges, but there is nothing that can stop you. As we say, where there is a will, there is a way. Thanks, viewers, for listening to us.
Thank you.
We'll join you next time. Goodbye.